Yo soy Sergio Merino y en nombre del Comité de Educación y Formación Profesional de
I'm Sergio Merino, and on behalf of WorldSkills Americas, welcome to the webinar of November. Today, Mr. Avnio Avalos from ITCA FEPADE from El Salvador will be our speaker. El Salvador is a member country of WorldSkills America since 2012, and ITCA FEPADE is the institution that represents El Salvador in WorldSkills America. We thank Elsie Escolar, who is the official delegate of El Salvador in WorldSkills America, and she is the headmaster of ITCA FEPADE. We thank for sharing one of the educational processes developed by her institution. Now referring to Mr. Ovano, he's an engineer, an electronic engineer. He's a specialist technician in industrial technology, besides holding international certificates in mechatronics, metrology, and electronic control. Mr. Vanio Avalos, he works in the technical education. He's been working for 20 years, since 2000. He's the technical delegate of Salvador in WorldSkills America, and he has developed since 2015. He's been the director of the dual education at ICA FEPADE, Specialized School of Engineering, and he is the director of the Center of High Technology in Mechatronic and Automation since 2008. The topic today is the dual system of higher technical education, sharing experiences. So, without further ado, before passing the floor to Mr. Ovano, let's speak about the organization of our webinar. The next slide, please. WorldSkills Americas consists on 27 countries in the Americas, and for the development of our webinar, we require that the questions will be posted by clicking on the Q&A button and identify yourself with your name and country, and to select the language, because there is translation into English, use the interpretation button, which is on the lower right side of your screen. The webinar will last 1 hour, and at the end, we will have 10 minutes for a Q&A session. Mr. Ovano will be able to answer any questions that you can make. Please, Mr. Ovano, the floor is yours. Thank you very much, Sergio. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this webinar on dual training or dual education. Before starting, I would like to tell you how is Salvador, how is describe our institution ITCA. ITCA FEPADE is an institute, training institute, which graduates technicians and engineers, which is sustained by the Ministry of Education. And its direction, its board of directors is done from FEPADE, which is the business organization for education. And this board of directors is composed by business people and people from the education side of things, let's say. ITCA FEPADE is present in the whole of Salvador. In all the, we have 5 campuses in the whole territory of Salvador. We have a small country, and we can reach the most important cities in Salvador, the largest cities in Salvador. And all our careers are directly certified and approved by the Ministry of Education of our country. We educate technicians at tertiary level and engineers as well. Within the dual educational system, this is a program that links the academic world with the business world. Besides that, we have to ensure quality in all our processes we put forward. We have a quality control through a certification entity called CLA, which certifies tertiary education, but we have other companies that help us to guarantee the quality, the high quality of the curricula of our and the education of our technicians and engineers. We have cooperation with German institutions which have helped us to develop our programs. Likewise, we always sought for constant improvement. So today, we're going to speak about the structure of dual education and how we have developed it over the last 15 years with the different careers and the different companies that support us in our country. Next slide, please. First of all,
¿cómo es que está alineado directamente la formación dual?
Well, I would like to emphasize how dual education is formed, which is the fundamental mission of ITCAFEPADI. Our mission as an educative institution is to educate engineers and technicians at a high technical level that have the opportunity to be employed in our local domestic market, but also that they are able to create their own startups. This is what a dual system means, how to look for a direct objective of linking the academic world with the business world, so that the technical careers have certain, once graduated, they have certain difficulties to generate entrepreneurs. So our objective is to maintain this perspective, this business perspective with all our students. In all our careers in our dual education system, we have modules with subjects that lead to this goal. So within the curricula, we foster a business education or entrepreneurial education, so that these people are not, the graduates are not only able to be employed by companies, but they are also trained to establish their own companies or to generate startups. So this is the objective of the dual system. Besides that, within the technical information, we focus on soft skills, which are always demanded for all careers that we teach. The subjects, mathematics, physics, oral communication, and other modules that we call these soft skills or transversal modules, which are fundamental for the formation of the student. These complement the technical part. Most of the companies ask us for a second language. We know how difficult it is to learn a second language, in our country. So we, within these careers, at the same time, we include the compulsory learning of the English language. So the objective is that when the students graduate, they have an acceptable level of English. Some of the companies and careers require an advanced level of English, and we also organize continued education, which where the students can further develop their English speaking skills. So this is a complete frame of education for our students, which is very important for our graduated technical engineers be employed or come up with startups. Let's say why we have this education model, why this is important, why the dual model is important, which we call it a system, because it has multiple players and units, and they all must work in a synchronized manner to educate our students. First of all, it's based on the capacities and dispositions that a person must have, that in general in Salvador, and I guess that this is also can be said about the other countries in the Americas. The education should generate a technical capacity and skill to work with the attitude of the students, of the graduates as well. In this sense, we look to share responsibilities. We don't only educate technically our students with technical skills, but the companies must work the capacities or the skills they're interested in, so that we can pass these skills over to our students. That means that we have to work as a team and to measure a long time how these technical and soft skills and business skills are developed jointly. So we are based on theoretical and practical technical knowledge, and we also develop alongside this the soft skills required by many companies. Many times, this component of educating students regarding soft skills must be part of the modules we develop. And many times business people say, well, the student doesn't want to speak personally. He wants to communicate only through the cell phone. So we say this is an educational process where both business people and the academic world must work together to develop these business and technical skills, and it's a teamwork then to be able to pass all these skills to our graduates. So we care for technical and soft skills, and this is the way we educate our students. Likewise, the company must work in the behavioral and behavioral skills when students go into the local market in practice. We will also train them in labor skills that many times the academic world, the educational institute isn't able to teach, but the business, the companies, yes, they are they know what sort of skills and competencies they need from their employees, which will help the educational process. This educational process, our young students can mature rapidly, which helps in the educational process because they will immediately have an experience of the learning skills they need so that they can develop, so that their performance within the companies are satisfactory, so that they meet all goals and projects that the companies establish. So this process of a dual system between the academic world and the business world will help to develop more rapidly the acquisition of these soft skills and technical skills by our students. For us, as ITCA FEPADE, the individual education started with a cooperation with Germany. We started the first career with a design based in having a certain amount of hours in practical technical education so that the students develop certain technical skills and that certain behavioral capacities were evaluated. A long time we've been developing this dual education system, and we have tropicalized it, so to speak, or localizing it regarding the domestic needs in El Salvador, because in each country we have different interrelationships, different needs, and relationships with the government, with the companies, with services, and with the academic context. So all these factors, we've been incorporating these through a constant improvement process, developing or adjusting our dual education system so that every youngster that studies technical skills, they can become trainees in companies as the law determines. In this case, we have what we are looking for is to carry out an adjustment so the dual system incorporates the traditional technical German skills to the dual system developed by ITCA FEPADE, meeting the domestic needs. So we have a sort of feedback. So for students, for the faculty, and for the administration team that takes care of this dual system. And this must be taken into consideration in each training program in companies so that we can accomplish this in a win-win relationship, this link between the business world and the academic world or technical skills world. How do we develop this dual education system? This structure can be quite simple. Actually, it's been a structure that we have been working on during several years. When we started with the first career, so the practical skills course, the duration was different from nowadays, and at the same time, the quantity of hours that the trainees spent in the companies wasn't this one as it is today. Now, the students, they spend 2 months in the school training practical and theoretical technical skills, and 2 months they spend in the companies as trainees. And we start 2 months that they study at ITCA, and 2 months they are trainees at in the companies. And we analyze other models of training programs in the companies that can be applied to other educational models. For example, some models tell us that the first 6 months should be spent in the academic, technical, and theoretical education, but then the practical part should take like 1 or 2 months, and the youngster, as he is educated theoretical and practically, they require that these young students spend some time at the companies acquiring business competencies and company competencies. So we have analyzed several factors. The very first one is that when the students enter in the business world as a trainee, the companies don't have a productive development. Sometimes they spend, it's not like spending 1 or 2 weeks per month. So we looked how to fit the business experience as a trainees in companies in a way that the companies have practical gains. And the best combination we established with the support of companies, because this was a consensus with the companies, is to have 2 months turns. In these 2 months turns, many companies in Salvador, they have the students changing shifts or changing workplaces, and that then it is feasible to assign specific tasks to the students. And in this time period, the students are able to develop and to accomplish several tasks in this period of 2 months. It is important to understand that it's not only the adaptation to a business corporate practice must be combined to their theoretical and practical education at school. So the company can take advantage of these practices and generate some special learning openings in the company, and prepare this sort of trainee program at the companies for 2 months. And the students studying 2 months at the ITCA FAPEG, this scheme prepares the companies to be able to receive new groups of trainees that come from the school. And so there is a cycle. There are groups that spend 2 months in the company, and others that spend 2 months at the school, and then they change roles. And this is, so there is a cycle of turns, and this has been very successful in the school, because one of the issues we had to solve is that when the youngsters have acquired responsibilities and skills at the companies, they finish their practical cycle and they have to go back to the school for further technical and academic training. And this sort of and the work they were developing is sort of put into parentheses, and they have to wait for 2 months so that they come back to the company to resume their work. So we designed a system so that we always have one student at the company. When one of the young students comes to the company, another one stays at the company. So this is a good synchronization and commonization, so that the companies have always 2 trainees, which are part of this dual education system, so that they are trained in the business practices within the company. So this design, or this project on how to have these shifts between the school and the companies is a main factor for the success of our program. So we take into consideration that the companies have a benefit when training our young students. Next slide, please. Which are our careers and how many students as we have in each one? As I said in the beginning, ITCA educates students in technical engineering, technical skills and engineering. We have identified through studies that we carry out, or surveys we carry out, regarding the need of and the employability of the market, in the marketplace. We survey needs, or let's say market needs, in terms of which are the technical and engineering careers that the productive sector requires. Through these surveys, we can establish which are the careers that we will implement in the institution regarding to the market needs. And besides, we can generate new careers for the for our curricula regarding always. So we have now, regarding market needs, we have 23 technical careers. Within the dual education system, we have 6 careers. This is 25% of our technical careers, which are part of this dual education system. With the Korean government support, as of 2024, we will increase 30% of our careers, and we would now reach 8 different careers. Under this dual system, academic and business education, offering this to our youngsters who want to study technical skills in the area of technology, in the technological area and engineering area. And also they will be trained business-wise, which are the needs that we detect in the domestic Salvadorian market. I always highlight that it's very important to be aware of the employability factor in the market and what needs the companies have regarding technicians trained and graduated at our school. This has to do also with the labor ministry and the Ministry of Investments that each of the countries may have. But it's also important that the educational sector have a clear picture of what's going on in the market context. We carry out surveys by department. We have defined, that is to say, Salvador is divided in so-called departments, and there we find the main cities in each department. So in general, we have developed sectors. Certain cities require certain technicians. So this is surveys that we always carry out to measure the level of acceptability and employability of the technicians we educate. This, so we are clearly aware of belonging regarding the careers we develop, and it guarantees a successful graduation for our young students, which will easily be absorbed by the labor market. The next slide, please. Let's speak about the core of dual education. Dual education or dual training have some fundamental players in the education process of students. We need to benefit a young adult that through technical education, they can achieve an employment in the market. So we have the teacher, the student. But in the dual education system, we added two fundamental actors. The first fundamental actor, we call it business coordinator, is the person who is in charge of visiting the youngsters when they are trainees in the companies doing their business practice. He is related to the company, has a constant relationship with the company, and speaks with the people who are in charge of the training of our students. The company, that is human resources and some management players. And then we have also a business tutor, which is a person assigned within the company so that they monitor the practical work carried out by students within the companies. And this making somebody responsible within the company, or several people within the company, or to link human resources to our educational process, is key for this dual education system. This is accomplished through taking into consideration what the students need in their educational training process through a feedback we get from the companies. This is possible through the business coordinator who visits our students at the companies and is always surveying what needs the company have, what sort of skills the students should have, and these are incorporated into the educational system. So this is incorporated to our curricula through the direction of our school, and this is transmitted to our instructors. So this constant feedback makes the system to be robust and to work in synchronicity with the business world. The tutor must integrate, the business tutor must integrate the educational process. He must be part of the educational process so that the student acquires better skills, that he's learning also implies the soft skills that the company requires, and the business coordinator, on the other hand, brings to the institution the company from the companies in always to have points of improvement or aspects of improvement. I'm going to name some fundamental actions so that to show how this feedback is analyzed by the team of dual education year per year to establish key indicators to measure the progress of the program. So this process of the coordination or between these three actors guarantees the accomplishment of technical and soft skills with increasing better results. This is fundamental within our system, and each one of the players must be influential in the educational process of our students, or where our students are immersed. We will see two videos where tutors, business tutors, and the students tell us how this integration of the dual system benefits the whole educational process in both cases. As a logistic groups of cargo group, we are satisfied with the result of the practices that the youngsters do with us in their dual modality. We motivate each youngster to go beyond the fact of their professional practices. They are immersed daily in our operation, and they experience how logistics works nowadays. We've been working for 11 years jointly with ITCA FEPADE, supporting their logistics and customs training, where students adjust 100% to our labor daily life, and they can experience how logistics works. Along these years, the students without the trainees without our company have as a result the possibility of being employed in our company. We have several ex-students which are now our employees, and they perform satisfactorily. The students are motivated to participate in this dual educational model. I invite you to experience this unique experience and be part of it, even as a trainee in our company. Now, I want to tell you about my experience in this career, which is very good, very excellent, because I have had very good technical teachers. In this dual mobility, I can work in the company and study at the same time, which is very advantageous because the theory is put into practice, which is very satisfying because any knowledge, technical knowledge, has a practical counterpart. In this modality, many doors open up because before having the labor experience, we have the technical skills. I want to thank ITCA FEPADE because I want to thank the company I work with, because this opportunity is not so easy to attain. There we heard a business tutor speaking and a student which was graduated under the dual modality. Going back to the core of the dual education system, the practice within the company, which the business coordinator and the business tutor, where these two participate, we have a curricula there, a practical curricula to be developed in the company. What does this mean? Both in the academic area, we have different learning modules or subjects, and each subject has a specific content to be developed and some skills to be accomplished. Likewise, in the companies, we have developed what we call the business practical curriculum. There we establish for each career what we as educational company and under the career in which the students are being educated, they must learn at least what they must learn at least in each one of the companies. This is not easy because we have a diversity of companies that work with us and that receive our trainees, but each company, from the pharmaceutical sector, from the nourishment system, catering system, from the plastics or agro-industrial and metal, mechanic, and logistics sectors, they have different focuses regarding the product that they deliver, the educational or practical training that they deliver. So we have adjusted this company needs to the more overall technical content of the career, but the business tutor will establish which is the educational or training goals to be attained. So this enabled that within the companies, we have achieved high levels of training, which benefits the student, but also benefits the company. So this follow-up on how our students are doing, it means that the business coordinator periodically meets the tutor, business tutor, and also with the participation of human resources, because human resources can offer a career plan to our students within the company. This help us to aim at what exactly the company needs our students to learn. Besides of this business academic relationship that we establish, we tell the companies that what role they should play in the students' learning, what will be the skills that he will acquire, what they are going to learn, what the students are learning in ITCA, and what the company has to provide regarding the education of this youngster, so that these soft skills of the students are further developed. This dual methodology can be regarded as a best practice, because sometimes the issue is that the company, or the gap is that the company doesn't know where to in what skills this youngster should be trained. So the academic institution is a guideline in this sense, and the person who is within the company hasn't been trained to educate. It has been contracted for a specific productive goal within the company. And in terms of the learning process, this person who is within the company, who is the tutor, business tutor, must be trained or informed in what sort of training our students should have. There is another area of opportunity, which are the continuous education courses. These are an offer that are all of our educational institutions introduce to improve the competencies of the company employees. We also try that the business tutor or the group of people that take care of our trainees also think about how their employees can be educated at ITCA FAPEDE, so that the tutor has also the opportunity and their employees of continued education, of further education. Of course, that the teachers who are working in the educational academic sector must visit the companies and also visit their own students, who are now trainees in the companies. Besides, we train the business tutors. These who are people at the companies. This is fundamental. This is how to instruct the tutor that receives our trainees within the companies. This is fundamental practice within the system. If we don't instruct and educate and train how a young student can learn within a company, it's difficult that the people at the companies will achieve the goals we aim at. So for us, it's fundamental to train the business tutors within the companies in terms of what needs, how to attain the needs and training goals the students have to attain. Also, we work in innovation processes within the company. Innovation is a main business factor nowadays. So if we have to innovate, we shouldn't only teach innovation skills, but do practical innovations both within our educational institution and within the companies where our trainees practice, so that the students had good instructions in terms of education, innovation, theoretically and practically. Next slide, please.
Siguiente. Oh, gracias.
Next one. Okay. Now, which is the purpose of dual education? We are talking about time. Every training course has a certain time frame. Within the company practice or corporate practice as an institution, we plan a minimum of 160 hours of training of our students within the company. All our technical careers have at least 300 to 500 hours of education within the companies. But through the dual system, we increased it to 1,600 hours of training within the company. And this enables this cycle between ITCA and the practical corporate experience. What relevant actions have we carried out so that this dual system is successful? First of all, to train our teachers and instructors. Always to ensure the business tutor in the company that take care of our students as trainees in the company. The company must guarantee having tutors within the company, and these tutors are instructed. Then updates of the curricula. We invite the graduated technicians and the tutors to help us to carry out these updates. This strengthens the educational process and improves constantly our curricula. The training of teachers is very important, the update of technical equipment and technologies in general. We cannot change technologies with the velocity that the industry does it. But it's important to have technologies and equipment that allows us to be updated in corporate terms. The corporate do have a process of the students. Some companies, they pay absolutely the enrollment and all the expenses our young students have during their training. Our careers are 2.5 years long, and during the whole process, the company offers a scholarship to the students, and the participation of tutors, coordinators, and students is important in national and international events. This is extremely important because at this time we can visualize how the technologies are developing, how educational technical processes are evolving in other countries, and this allows us to be standardized at international level. Our certifications for teachers, instructors are utmost important. Their certifications allows us to have a academic quality level, which is world-class, which is certified by an external entity who validates our technical education system as a whole. And many times we don't know who treats, who are people responsible for our training in the companies. So we have determined that these so-called business tutors, which are company employees and that are responsible for our students, come to IDCAFAPEDI, to our institution, at least twice a year, so that he gets acquainted with the institution, he gets to know who the instructors are. And many times when we do this training, the headmasters and the board of directors of the school visits the daily training facilities of the school, so that they meet the company tutors. And this is a relevant activity because we have to take into consideration the business tutor so that he gets acquainted with our institution, IDCAFAPEDI, and our training processes. There are some factors that determine every good practice. We analyze it because the dual system is a good practice based in constant improvement. Year after year, we must improve on how to improve our dual system. How can we relate the business tutors to be part of virtual frameworks and get to know our companies and are part of the training of the educational process? They should integrate, we should integrate both parts as a whole team. This is fundamental. So we should have an constant improvement team, which is part of our institution, and there must be a direct relationship regarding strategic planning of the institution regarding the dual education system, so that the youngsters that we educate will finally graduate and attain employability. So the role of the companies in this continuous improvement is fundamental, because ITCA, which is the educational institution, must be an institution to form the human resources personnel that they have within the companies. These employees which work with us in the educational process also have a process of growth, and they can update their know-how, always taking into consideration business goals. Through business breakfast or meetings, we invite the CEOs of the company or the managers of the company to come with us and exchange ideas about the dual education system, so that the management of the company and the board of directors of our school get together, and we listen to business people in order to they're incorporating their suggestions on how to improve our education curricula. So we invite the companies to give us a speech, for example, in order to receive suggestions on how to improve our dual education system. And we hold 4 to 5 annual meetings with the business people in order to have feedback, not only from the business tutors, but from high management, from the high management of the companies. Next slide. This is the companies that are part that work with us. We have 150 companies that work in the dual education system year after year. We might even increase the number of companies, and we have a good base of companies in each productive sector that help different careers. You saw an example of a logistics, a custom company who's been working 15 years in our program, receiving our trainees, and this gives the dual education system extraordinary strength. The education of business tutors, they come twice a year to our institution, and the company, and we give them a training course. What is the training course all about? The companies must assign this business tutor twice a year. So we instruct them on how the youngsters are educated on the different skills and how to establish methodologies per project in the company regarding our young trainees, so that the youngsters can develop a project within the company and how to solve the conflicts among these young students, which are from 17 to 18 years of age, when they treat with adults that have been working for years in these companies, because they come from an earlier generation. This is very important to train the tutors in this sense. So sometimes they say that the youngsters don't leave aside their cell phones, that they don't communicate orally, that their productivity is low. But these are students who are learning. And the idea is that they acquire the correct skills, even soft skills. So that's why it's important to train the tutors, so the tutors then can work with the trainees within the companies. How do we attain sustainability over time of this dual system of education? We said that we've been working with this dual system for 15 years, and then we have the commitment of the authorities. Secondly, we created a dual education school that relates the academic world to the business world and offers continuation to the model. There is a specialized unit in management of scholarships and business monitoring. So we ask the companies to pay the travel expenses and other sort of grants to facilitate the education of our youngsters. We look for skilled technicians. We want to establish the dual system according to regulations and procedures. We have developed in this institution and quality processes, procedures, and regulations on how everything works in the dual education system, how we do, what to do to look for a company, how do we select a candidate, a trainee candidate to be inserted in a company. Everything is established through established procedures and how the budget assigned must be executed, how the company can carry out the whole process. Constant training for educators and instructors, and a training to also make the instructors go to the companies and get acquainted to what's going on in the company and what they need in terms of soft skills and technical skills of our students. We have some actions which are always present, which are to see what the needs of new careers are. We are going to open 2 new careers as of 2024 to work with business advisory committees. When we are going to actualize our curricula, we call the specialists of these technical careers so that they can advise the companies. We train our teachers in new technologies. We review and update the study plan for dual majors, and we train for business tutors in youth training, and this will be increased. We have more than 150 companies working with us each year in the dual system. So each company assigns 1 tutor at least. So we have 150 tutors to be instructing and updating. This is fundamental. The practical curriculum, competencies gaining companies, ensures the activities the students carry out in companies. There are certain areas that can be improved or innovated, and the practical curriculum is fundamental. What these young trainees must perform within the company, and this is updated year after year. The recommendations for the implementation of other education institutions, many countries have this sort of education established in different ways, and it's carried out according to the needs of each sector and country. But there are some general recommendations that could be recommended as best practices, so that we have to have the commitment of the education authorities of the country. Authorities must work together with a team of dual education regarding their relationship with the business world, the commitment of the different actors to stimulate teachers towards the benefit of the academic and the business world, and how this is beneficial. We must have a strategic axis that must be transversal in terms of the educational program through human resources, to rotate the tutors and the instructors within the company, and to have a certain rotation, let's say a certain turnabout of our, or turnaround of our roles in terms of business monitors and business advisors. This would be some of the most important suggestions. If you already have a dual education system in place, or you want to establish it from scratch, I hope this all helps you to do that. Next slide, please. Well, to wrap up, I would like to tell you that this dual education system has enabled us to attain a position before the companies that allows us to improve the academic impact of things constantly, which exerts a positive impact both in the teachers, the students, and the companies. And the people within the companies help us too, and in general, we have contribute socially. This generates a win-win relationship, which is fundamental. The relationship must be framed in a win-win relationship from both sides, and always to have the best or the foremost winners, which should be our young students that go through this education. They will benefit society, they will benefit their families by getting good employment, and these are a strategic goal of ours that will never be left behind. Next slide, please. Well, with this, I finish my explanation on how this dual education system works, and it's been a pleasure, and I'm open for questions and answers that you might have sent through the chat. Thank you very much, Obanio. Let's go to the questions. I think that Ina from Costa Rica asks the following: every companies, do they assume the commitment to receive trainees? Is this very important regarding the motivation of the students that are being trained? Well, I can comment on the following. Each company, we sign a learning agreement where we establish which are the requirements so that the company can receive our trainees, which are the obligations of the company, which are the obligations of ITCA, and which are the responsibilities of the young trainees. There we establish all requirements so that we work in the educational process. This covenant, this learning agreement, are signed by the highest levels of management in the company, and also is signed by our headmaster. So there we establish all the procedures, and there we determine that they should assign a certain opening for our trainees, and they should assign 1 or 2 business tutors. And this agreement, because it's signed by the highest management of the company, maybe the CEO and our headmaster, this is followed. A question from Paraguay: who designs the practices in the companies for the trainees? The design of the business practice are designed by business coordinators and teachers. This project, then, we consult, we go for a consultation meeting with the business tutors, which through a workshop. After this workshop, we finally establish what technical and soft skills goals that the company should aim at. And we give the companies certain flexibility so that a percentage that the student must learn should be established by the company. For example, companies that developed that work with paper and cellulose companies are only 3 in Salvador. So these companies would teach technical skills related to this specific industry. And this results in a practical curriculum. Okay, Wilmy Mora from the Dominican Republic asks, besides world skills, in which other institutions you participate, in which areas we participate? Besides world skills, we participate in hackathons regarding technology, which other institutions put in place related to computing mostly, or to technology, because information technology is a transversal subject in all our technical careers. Likewise, there are other processes of internal skills that are developed in the country, especially regarding innovation, where the youngsters can compete developing innovation projects in different sectors. This helps us a lot too, because the level attained in these other skills is quite high, with different goals. Many times these processes are geared towards innovation to solve business or social issues, for example. Marco Flores from Bolivia asks, the business tutor is chosen by the company? We carry out a requirement through human resources that they look for the people who have better skills in terms of teaching, and the companies know who these people are, who have some people have some sort of teaching skill. So in this case, they they assign these people, we train them, and then they become the company tutors. It's a process that starts with human resources in the companies, and we help them to find the people with the correct profile, and then we train them twice a year. Cesar Rovalino from Ecuador, who covers the costs of the labor risk costs? Who pays that? Well, the young people that go to go to the companies, we have a collective labor safety insurance. This is the way how we cover that. In general, this is one of the first things that companies ask us. Is the trainee insured? Yes, he and she are insured, and we cover that with enrollment, regarding enrollment costs. Mr. Ochoa from Intercape, Guatemala, which is the rate of employability of your students? Well, we measure that through 2 indexes. There is a unity in ITCA of student well-being, who monitors and follows up the students that come out of the company and are employed, come out of school and are employed. In this dual system, we send this information and we ask the companies if they're going to employ a youngster that has been trained to 2.5 years at the company. The rate of employability we have two measurements. One is the insertion rate of people that work in the companies that have trained them. It's around 40%. And the employability rate of our graduates is close to 100%. I make this comment, which is quite interesting, regarding employability. Many times, what happens is that there are some companies, and what they want is a human resource which is already trained. And the company that educated this, trained these youngsters has invested 2 years. I have these students. Many times they even pay their studies. So if you want to stay with me, I offer you $50 more per month, let's say, because the youngsters that come out of this dual education process, there is high demand for them in the market. So many times other companies that haven't trained the students offer a better salary, and that depends on the free will of the students, what company they're going to end up working at. These are technical careers which the companies need. The employability studies and the survey of company needs play an utmost important role in this process, because what we mean is that what are educating our youngsters for, so that they attain employability. Mr. Ovaño, thank you very much for sharing this beautiful educational work that ITCA FEPADE is developing. We asked for your permit to share this training. Thank you all for participating in this webinar. I hope you have enjoyed this topic. It's a very important subject and very interesting, how to develop interaction between the business world and the academic world. Thank you, Elsis Escolar from Salvador, and for all those who are responsible for the technical instruction processes in the Americas. Thank you for Enrique, the interpreter. Welcome. And we will send to Mr. Ovaño the questions that haven't been answered because of lack of time. Okay, we'll see you in the next webinar in 2023. There won't be a webinar in December, and we will also cover some other issue regarding professional education. Thank you very much. This was a pleasure to translate this webinar. Thank you.